What's up, guys? This is Right Here News coming at you right now. And today we are at the Culberson County groundwater meeting. This is a bit of a continuation from our town hall and from the last commissioners meeting. They're having today on the agenda something to do with the labor camp / man camp that is being proposed to be putting down in Lobo. I do have here what it says. Request a waiver and settlement related to construction of the border wall and PGF number 3, and then some stuff. So there y'all have it. We're going to see how it goes. I am going to be here to document it for y'all. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see how it goes.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're calling the meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
It is 2:02. I'd like to welcome everybody. Is everybody signed in, whether you're speaking or not? Okay. We do have a quorum present. Sam, Lacey, and myself.
Can y'all hear me on there?
Yes.
Okay, for whatever reason, we lost it on my phone, or on my computer, so we're just gonna do our best. Sorry, guys. So you're ready?
Okay. The meeting has been called to order, everyone. We've determined a quorum. We've posted proof of notice of the meeting, attested to it, and then now we're ready for public comment. So if I'm going to start over here, would you like to speak first? If you need
I want you to start over there.
Okay.
I want to nominate you to speak, so I'm going to start.
Want public comment?
I'm speaking last.
Yeah, and,
You would speak last?
and folks, excuse me, we're limiting everybody to 3 minutes.
I'm going to read fast, because it's
Okay.
only a half a sheet of paper.
Okay.
Recording in
You
progress.
just-
No, it's
Okay, my name is Lynn Richardson. I live at the south end of Lobo, in Culberson County, on Sanchez Road, actually. In some of the other meetings we've all been to, I've been hearing an awful lot about water, the depth of the aquifer, what the man camp's going to do to the aquifer, etc. So because I'm a warrior, I decided to play worst case scenario. What's going to happen if I get run out? We get run, my husband and I get run out. So I've been in contact with, I think it's water runner or water guy out of Midland to find out what would I have to do to find out to deal with water, because I'm not moving. You run me out of water, I'm going to stay there and die and turn to dust. So anyway, and this is the worst case. This is horrendous what I found out. A 3,000 gallon tank, which for we're talking 2 people, a few animals, and that's it. They do a rent to own, and I'm not selling it, I'm just telling you from my perspective. $249 a month for 2 years, that includes the pump, and then you own it, which is really pricey unless you want to go out and buy it. Plus, $600 water delivery monthly. So that's like, what, $850 a month just to get drinking water at your house. And then he says, because it's kind of hard to get it delivered on a monthly basis. Sometimes it's 4 weeks, sometimes it's 6 weeks, you could run out of water, etc. He says, why don't we recommend a 6,000 gallon tank for 2 people and a pump, and that's $449 a month rent to own, $900 in a water delivery every 6 weeks, or $8,100 per year for water. My water today cost me maybe $25. That's the cost of my power. And haven't run out yet. We've had problems with the well, but they always get fixed by the well guy that we have out of Alpine. So I'm very concerned about the water. I don't have this kind of money. If this water board approves all this water going out and I run dry, who's going to pay the bill so I don't dry up to dust? That's what my question is. And that's my concern.
Thanks, Linda. Very good. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jennifer Foreman. I'm a resident in the Lobo area. Back in 2021, this groundwater district was given a presentation by Dr. Al Blair regarding rainfall recharge in Lobo to calculate your desired future conditions. Dr. Blair recommended looking at the impact on domestic wells because residents don't have the resources to lower pumps and drill new wells like your agricultural operations do. How does this current situation fit into or disrupt those desired future conditions discussed in previous years by this commission. I know, different people, but same commission. Everybody knows we're in a prolonged drought. If you research the NOAA, the outlook shows the drought is persisting, a less than 1% probability for it to end in 6 months, and only 14% probability for it to end in the next 12 months. The number one way an aquifer gets recharged is through the natural absorption from precipitation. When land is stripped, it drastically reduces that natural absorption and your natural aquifer recharge. It causes long-term declines in aquifer storage, and it lowers the water table. On Monday, Mr. La Liberty stated that they would have a minimal impact on the land and would replicate the natural water flow. The land has already been stripped and it's already being graded. From what I hear, that has been done without permits. That's somebody else's problem, not yours. But you cannot replicate natural absorption and drainage to perform the way that nature does. Also back in 2021, Mr. Guevara of PGF was concerned about the drawdown on that aquifer. And he blamed Chillicothe Ranch in the Jeff Davis Water District for that drawdown. Back then, he updated his irrigation and micro sprinklers. He stayed under his allotted water usage, and he had showed good neighboring practices by doing that. However, now it seems hypocritical that he wants to use that same aquifer he was worried about for his own financial gain. Your past good deeds don't entitle you to future bad deeds. Mr. La Liberty said his firm ran a test that suggested the aquifer could sustain the temporary strain. I would ask if their company is going to take responsibility for a worst case scenario, like Lynn said, to ensure that your residents have a water supply in the future between a prolonged drought and increased prolonged pumping. In my opinion, this commission has a duty to your taxpayers and your residents that depend on that aquifer before a duty to one business owner who's looking for an exception to be made for his personal gain. In hoping that you make the right decision, but today, this commission, I just want to quote Judge Urias from Monday's meeting. He said, "We have to protect our water. We really do. Water's just like oil, it's just as precious. That aquifer over there in Lobo is dwindling. It is consistently year in and year out going down."
Thank you, Jennifer. Cheryl, which one's you?
Yeah, I'm Mike. I was in this read a quick statement from a hydrologist friend of mine. His biggest concern is that an agricultural well assume that around 60%, if not more, depending on the irrigation type of the water produced, will re-enter the water table. The rest will be lost to both evaporation and evapotranspiration through the crop or plants. So in reality, most of the water produced for agricultural is not leaving the local system. That's why more targeted irrigation systems are important in dry climates. So the water isn't lost to evaporation. Conversely, water produced for municipal and commercial uses like a man camp or concrete production will be lost to the water system at a rate that is unsustainable for groundwater recharge to keep up. Certainly in the extreme drought, for the man camp alone, the 13+ million gallons per year used will not be reintroduced into the system. It will be lost through evaporation, treatment processes, and eventually totally removed from the local water system. And once this man camp is approved, it will be extremely difficult to prevent other developments from doing the same thing. It sets a legal precedent that can't be undone, and the additional developments will place similar demands on water resources, further depleting the already defined water tables in the Big Bend. And I'd also like to point out, as far as we can tell, these guys are not playing by the rules. They haven't obtained any permits that we're looking for. They're just trying to bulldoze over any of the local requirements, and I don't think they're just gonna play by the rules whether you approve this or not. I'm not sure how you stop them.
And Mike, quick question, when you first started out, you said what did the hydrogeologist say about 60% of what?
My biggest concern is that an agricultural well assumes that around 60%, and if not more, depending on the irrigation type of the water produced, will re-enter the water table.
Right. Jennifer?
Yeah, Jennifer, spend half my time here in West Texas and half the time on the northeast I just want to briefly thank you all for letting us speak here today and provide you guys with something. There seems to be a misnomer that is over, the wall is coming, and there's nothing that we can do. These are some copies of just some of the resolutions that have been passed by Culberson's sheriff, by our county judges, by our legislators to try to stop the wall. You guys are a key linchpin in the process here, making these decisions, not only setting precedents, as Micah was saying, for other communities, but for your own community, how you choose to store the land and economic development. You know, certainly I would hate to see AI centers or other man camps coming in thinking this is a man camp town. I've seen this happen in New Hampshire, and now we have prison towns, and that's the industry there. It is far from over. There are multiple lawsuits at the federal level happening. It is a hard decision that you have to make. It is a difficult decision you have to make as you stored your community and the land and the precious water. But I do believe that you can do the right thing, even if it is the right hard thing. You can say no. Simply say no. Not now, not at this time, not in our community.
My name's Jane Miller. I just want to echo the concerns that people have shared thus far and say that I think that what we stand to lose is far greater than anything we've ever gained from this.
Thank you, Jen.
My name's Winnie Penton-Chan. I'm new here, and I love it, and I appreciate all the work coming from that to be here and explain why this is a bad idea. So thank you, and no thank you.
My name is Jessica Barco. I just wanted to say, please don't be the first domino to fall. You guys have a real opportunity here to do the right thing and to keep everybody banded together. The minute that you guys say yes to this, everybody else can fall right in line. So please take care of the people that live here.
Thank you.
My name is Billy Barco, and I would just like to read a statement that I prepared, but my simple ask is for you guys to uphold the integrity of the water district. And it's in place for a purpose, for a reason. You guys have a very valuable job in protecting a finite resource. And from what I can tell and what I can see, I don't think there's a whole lot of honesty being shared by engineering firms. And the engineering firm presentation to the Commissioner's Court earlier this week stated that an application had been filed with the county, and the firm was already working with TCEQ. He also stated that water testing and a 24-hour pump test had been performed. The county judge here confirmed during that meeting that the application was indeed not filed with the county at that time, and I have serious concerns about the actions claimed to be taken with TCEQ. For example, TCEQ regulations require a 36-hour pump test for a public water supply, not 24 hours as they stated they had done. To be valid, this pump test would have to be completed after TCEQ approved engineering to convert the well from agricultural well to a commercial well. So a pump test before the well is converted is essentially not valid. So I would like just clarification, was it a 24-hour pump test or was it a 36-hour pump test? The proposed use is definitely mandates a public water supply. And so was the 36-hour public water supply standard. Why was the 36-hour public water supply standard not complied with? I would ask that you guys please collect and provide for the public all of the documentation that should be on file with TDCQ if that has happened, including the complete pump test results, drawdown measurements, recovery data, transmissivity calculations, and aquifer response analysis. The other thing that seems to be a little bit unclear but misleading in the presentation from the firm on Monday is there a Texas licensed public engineer involved, which is also required by TDCQ. So my real simple request is that all TCEQ correspondence and approvals between the engineering firm and TCEQ be provided to you guys, and that you guys make those public for the public to see before you grant any alterations to any or approvals to any applications.
Thank you, Billy. Can you, do you know what the name of the engineering firm was that made that presentation?
I don't.
Cushing Terrell.
Christian Terrell and the actual gentleman.
Luke Liberty is, and it looks like Frontier Development is actively clearing the land as we speak and moving in infrastructure for building.
So on the way over here.
Which again, it just shows they're not acting in good faith. I personally have tried to get a public water system where we live, and it's a 2-year process to get through the state. It requires extensive engineering. The engineering firm has to be done. There has to be a responsible Texas licensed engineer to sign off on that. So, I mean, they can use someone from Montana for sure, but a Texas engineer with a Texas license has to take responsibility for that. Please just make sure all of those rules are followed.
Thank you.
I'll go next. I'm Charlie Angel. I live in Redford, Texas. Should I stand over there, or am I good here?
You're good.
You're good there. Okay. I work in the water board there and have been for 7 years, and I have a Class 2 water operator's license. But thanks for having us here. But you know, these projects, not just this one, but these things go through in about 3 years. History books, Texas history books will be rewritten to show who aided and abetted a New York real estate developer and a bunch of out-of-state contractors and a very tiny handful of Texans to take away 1,000 miles of our state and our river. That's the consequences right there. A few people get rich, all of them out of state or from New York City with their grand design, taking our land, 1,000 miles of riverfront, 1,000 miles of real estate, some of it several miles off the river. People's names will be in the books. I'll make sure they get in the books, and other people here will too. So just remember that. You'll spend the money in a year or two, these people will. And then we lose the river forever. We lose that real estate forever. All because of some harebrained idea from a guy from New York City bringing in contractors from out of state, and very few Texans getting anything, and they shouldn't get anything. Shame on anybody that's part of this. But we will lose this forever if this happens. We can make a difference and stay out of the books or be in the history books as those who helped and prevented it.
Thanks, Charles.
Hi, my name's Jenna, and I live in Big Bend area now, full-time, year-round, and I want to echo what everyone else said here. These are really good points. But I want to tell a personal story. My family's all from West Virginia, mostly from West Virginia. There's a lot of coal mining, and they do a lot of earthwork with that, as you might know. It's called mountaintop removal coal mining. And all these communities are promised restoration after that. They go through, they destroy the land, they plant the worst trees that they can, and I've had family that has lost their water because of this, because they have covered up streams. And here, there's a lot less water to deal with. There's a lot less for people to work with, and people are facing that threat that my family had of losing water. And this place is much more arid. Water is much more critical here, and I just hope you all consider that, and hope you consider who actually lives here and not people who are going to be here temporarily and destroy our entire region and our state, really. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hi, Michael Ryan.
Hey, Mike.
Resident of Brewster County, Presidio County my whole life, retired law enforcement. I guess since March, I've been to about a dozen meetings with public comment. I have not heard one person say man camp is a good idea. It's a terrible idea. I guess we're asking, you can hear the stories, shallow wells at risk. Your own residents here are worried about the water. We live downstream, we're worried about it all. It starts with the man. I ask you to be on the right side of this. I can't be as passionate as Charlie is, but it's very important because we all came up 6 hours to get here. So please consider everyone here, not just ones that make the problem. Thanks.
Where are you living now, Michael?
Tulane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have a public comment?
I do, but you have Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom speakers.
If you want to speak on Zoom, will you just raise your hand and we'll go in order? I'll call you. Okay, Joe, you were the first one that I saw raising his hand if you'd like to speak. Oh, no, he's next. Joe, do you wanna talk? He's not. I can mute him.
No, him. He might have muted on himself.
Anybody else? Catherine. Where do you wanna go, Catherine?
Okay, can y'all hear me?
All right, I hope y'all can hear me. I'm just gonna start talking. I'm a resident of Valentine, Texas. I'm a landowner in Valentine. I'm also a landowner in Culberson County. I just want to echo what all the other folks who have spoken have said. I'm extremely worried about a man camp being 15 minutes down the road from me. We don't have any emergency services in Valentine. We don't have law enforcement. We don't have medical services. This is already an issue. If there are 500 men right down the street from my house, I'm extremely worried for the women and children that live in my community. Not to mention, it'll destroy the land. It'll destroy our water access. It'll affect the whole region. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, and please make the right decision and protect your communities. Thank you.
Anybody else? Online? I think Sally. Sally, would you like to speak?
Yes,
Ready when you are.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
My statement is I just want to reiterate that this is big government coming in and pushing this on a local, small local community. And the only way to defeat them is at the grassroots level. Because there are people who care about the land and the water. And so I just hope you'll make the right decision. I own land in Brewster County downstream from this fence and have been involved in all of that. Following it closely, but please use your grassroots power, your local power to delay and long enough to cost them a lot of money or outright decline to let them come. Whatever you can do at the grassroots level, because you work for the people, right? The government, the big government is supposed to, but that's not happening. We're all being railroaded with this. So our only power is with our local government at the grassroots level, so please do the right thing.
Thank you.
Courtney, you can go.
Okay, am I on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be brief. I'm also a landowner in Brewster County, and I just want to echo everything everyone in this room has said thus far.
Thank you. S. Cason?
Yeah, hi, my name is Sam. I'm a property owner in Brewster County, and I need to chime in to say that you folks on the county board and local government are on the front lines of this, and we absolutely need your support and your advocacy to stop this destructive plan. I'm looking to those people around that table to advocate for your community. You guys have a responsibility, and you're the best positioned at this point to be helpful. And so, pleading with you guys to live up to your responsibilities and do the right thing. Echoing what Charlie said is that we're all going to look back at this in a few years and ask ourselves personally about where we stood and what we did. And the people that stepped forward to advocate for our community are going to go down good in the history books. And those that don't are gonna have to live with that, and it will outlive your own lifetime if you don't step up and do something about this. Thank you.
Anybody else on Zoom? I don't believe there's anybody else on Zoom. Anybody on Zoom?
Anna Claire has her hand up.
There she is. Okay, Aunt Claire. Aunt Claire.
Hi, I'm Anna Claire Beasley. I live in Brewster County, and just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity for public comment and for, just appreciation for the unique position you find yourselves in. You know, you signed up for this job to represent your constituents or the folks of Culberson County, not knowing that this fight was going to show up on your doorstep, and now here we are. And I think I would just encourage to say that you are not alone. As you can see from the people that drove all the way to Culberson County to be in that room to give comment, everyone in this region cares about this, and you have the support of everybody who will be affected by the decisions that are at play here today. It was a little hard to hear some of the audio, so apologies if I'm repeating things that were already said, but I think there needs to be hydrological studies about this man camp and what it's going to do to the water table, what it's going to do in peak demand scenarios. We're in a drought, we've been in a drought. I think we need to consider all of the different factors. If things are going to be as above board as what Luke presented in the meeting on Monday, then let's do the studies and let's get the data to support it, because my feeling is it will not support it, and that's why they want to fast track this. They've already showed, as others said, that they do not follow the rules, and we cannot let these state companies bend the rules just for them. I hope allow themselves to be bullied by a corporate. Thank you.
Anybody else online? Leslie, maybe?
Molly?
Molly Walker here, lifelong West Texas rep. I'm going to relay a message from someone who's been fighting water drought in hill country. First, this is the water governance and long-term sustainability in Culberson County. The issue is a myth.
Molly, hold on 1 second. You're kind of cutting out, so. I don't know if it's your service.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, it just keeps breaking in and out, so you like freeze.
Okay, I will defer my time.
You sound good. Also, it's probably a Culberson thing. You want off your video feed and just do audio.
Alright, can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, once again, this is about protecting the integrity of water. Overseeing me, not just opposing us. Cultural permit is being used to support a 500-person man. Passes the level of scrutiny normally required for that scale of residence. This has fundamentally changed the permit. Allowing this creates a pathway for future permit abuse. Current water use assumptions are based on the contour demand, which is seasonal and this continuous concentrated demand that is not reflected. Increased pumping leads to drawdown. If pumping exceeds in a region that is already experiencing exacerbating groundwater decline. of the aquifer can be impacted unevenly. In arid regions like far west Texas, recharge is slow, making overuse harder to recover from. The hydrological study reflects the added demand from studies likely assume stable population spikes. You're missing key scenarios, not just averages. Man-camp population conditions and long-term climate trends. Without updated data, decisions are being made without an accurate picture of sustainability. Runoff and reduce infiltration. Water recharge. Allowed categories can be ignored without consequences. Elements instead of enforcement weaken regulatory authority. Rules-based system opens the county to broader long-term risk if others follow the same model. Knowingly doing this to future legal or administrative challenge the purpose of having a permanent system in place. By the settlement until proper review is completed. Require population impacts, peak demand actions, reevaluate or reclassify the permit to reflect actual use, enforce existing permit rules rather than creating exceptions. Control that the use is residential for 500 people and is wrong or the enforcement is. Water use assumption. You can't manage a limited resource. This isn't just about the specific project. It's for every future water use decision in the county. And in a time of increasing water insecurity, this is a very bad decision. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Molly.
I had to send it to us.
Okay, I see Rachel has her hand up on Zoom. Rachel, are you ready?
Hi, sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Rachel Carvajal. I live in Alpine, and I'm here today to oppose the man camp for a different reason outside of the water, which is also clearly very crucial. But for 7 years, I worked for the Family Crisis Center at the Big Bend, and I just want to point out that the having a man camp in an area that is so isolated and so bereft of law enforcement really increases the risk of sexual assault and harassment and violence in general. Not blaming the workers, and I'm not trying to say that, this is, everybody is the same, but it is a risk that should be considered. And with 7 years of experience in that field, I can tell you that this is a real risk that you should be thinking about. So that's my 2 cents. Please oppose this, and thank you very much for your time.
Anybody else on Zoom? I do not see any more hands on Zoom.
Hi Haley, I don't know how to put a hand up. Can I
Okay, go
make one comment?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Alvarado. I am a rancher. I live in the area and Van Horn. I'm driving. I couldn't be there, but I do want to concur with Molly as a cattle rancher, and I know every single one of you on that board experienced our recent droughts in the past 10 years, and I just would really love if you guys could demand an updated survey of our groundwater usage and what could apply to having many more people. I know like AI data centers are trying to come in too, and again, just setting that precedent, and also just being more prepared for our children. 20 years from now, when my kids want to drill a well, are they going to have to go 200 feet down or 1,000 feet down? And this decision would highly affect them as well. So thank you guys. I wish I could be there.
Anybody else?
Evans. I am a resident and property owner in Brewster County. I am a long-term river guide. I've lived here for 28 years. One of the things that drew me to this place was that it is a rugged land full of rugged people. And I'd just like to reiterate what everybody else has asked you. I'm sorry that you find yourselves in the front of this fight, but I hope that you are able to do whatever you can within your power to slow this thing down. As Yolanda said, it's not just going to be a man camp. It's going to be a data center. It's going to be so many other things. There is so much coming our way. And I just hope that you can stand for West Texas and the ruggedness of this land and these people. And thank you all very much. Thank you for being there, and thank you for taking my call today.
Anybody else online? If you want to speak, go ahead. On Zoom. Okay, I don't see anybody's hands, I don't see anybody talking, so we have one last speaker.
All right, number one, my name is Michelle Lamont. My husband is Chester. We live a mile from where the RV camp is going in. Number two, I'm extremely appalled that somebody would come here and threaten our board. That was uncalled for and was just so unprofessional if you're trying to make a point. We have 12 children, 26 grands, 13 great-grands. I'm a former juvenile probation officer from a very large city. I was a specialized therapeutic foster care provider in 2 states. I was also a state and county preferred licensed daycare provider. I was a CART officer. My education is paralegal. I successfully ran an RV park in Culberson County. Now, I have to trust that the elected persons on this board will make an informed decision about this matter. I have to trust that the decision that they make will be fair and just for all in this water district. I have to trust that when the time comes for my family to permit to drill a well, their decision here today will not deny us the ability to do so. I have to trust that their decisions are not swayed from outside influencers or persons from outside our water district pushing alternate reasons to deny this permit based upon their feelings about the wall. I would also like to trust that the personal feelings of this board about the wall do not play a part in their decisions. Once again, we are not here to debate the wall. We are here to talk about the water. While I appreciate the concern of others not from here, this is a Culberson County issue. And our elected board members are and should be concerned with Culberson County water permitting practices and aquifer longevity and quality. Last point I would like to make. Thank you to all the protesters. You definitely have made progress here in Culberson County. As many of you are aware, our Culberson County Judge, Carlos Urias, made a statement to the Marfa Public Radio reporter about permitting the rural areas. If this happens, those of us in rural Culberson County will now need permits for fencing, driveways, buildings, electrical, and solar. All of rural Culberson County, not just Lobo, will be affected by permitting. So, they are going to only be allowed, if any of you have lived in a larger county or a city, you know there is a long process for permits. They issue you one, you get the work done, it has to be certified, they sign off of it. So if somebody wanted to put in a fence for their cattle or a barn or whatever, because of the hubbubaloo going on right now, our judge is now talking about permitting Culberson County. And he stated that in the Marfa Radio reporting. She quoted part of what he said, but not the whole thing. Also, the judge said it, they've already discussed it, we know that, those of us that live here in Culberson County. And they will approve this because it will be a moneymaker for the county. So, once again, thank you for your outside opinions that may well have a lasting impact on the lives and livelihoods of all of us living in rural Culberson County. There's reasons we moved here, and it was to get away from the zoning, the permitting, and so on and so forth. I'm not saying I'm for it, I'm not saying I'm against it, but what I am saying, you cannot tie one into the other, and threatening our board was uncalled for. And just, it just amazes me. It amazes me. So, yeah, you take that attitude to your own counties and threaten your own boards.
May I reclaim 2 minutes that we not use? Lots about feelings and that, and I could not agree more with you. Put your feelings aside about things that aren't this deal. This is a very difficult and obviously huge topic. You guys actually have a very, very easy decision to make. If you will allow TECQ to dictate what happens here and not approve anything until they approve everything, it's the easiest decision you guys can make. Defer to the state, require anybody who's going to do anything here to follow rules that are already in place, and be transparent. That's all anybody's asking, and everybody has everybody's community best interest in mind. If anything was taken as a threat, not how it was meant, apologies given for that. We just want everyone to be fully aware of what this means to us. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you.
Yep. And I'd like to rebuttal as well to what he had said something earlier about the civil engineer. He stated he had requested 911. That's the only permit he is required to in Culberson County. They said they hadn't gotten, he said he would look into it. That's the only permit that is required.
That's not true, man, for wastewater.
Well, as
water
far
and sewer,
as
that's not
private
good.
property and what's going on, yeah, the TCE, he said he would take care of it.
Thank y'all.
You bet. Thank you very much for allowing
Thank
me
you.
to speak.
I spoke with somebody at TCEQ, Jennifer, I live in Lubbock. And I had actually called them regarding the fast, wondering why, since it's not being farmed and it's for commercial reasons. I asked why they weren't watering the site. We know why farmers don't do it, but I asked why they weren't putting water down the construction site. And the person who called me back, he was very nice and he was very professional, and he actually told me that they should have had a stormwater or drainage permit or something that he did not see on file, but they should have had that before they ever stripped and graded the land, because it affects the natural flow of the water to the natural waterways. And I wasn't gonna mention that earlier when I spoke, because I was like, that's not your problem, but apparently it is. So, TCEQ said they should have been permitted first, and they're not. So if they're already cutting corners or getting ahead of themselves, what does that show their level of respect for the governing bodies in charge, the citizens at large? And I feel like they're disrespecting you, they're disrespecting your community, our community.
If I could add 15 seconds, sorry, but working with the Redford Water Board, and I know you use groundwater, not the actual water supply here, but with the water supply, I know you have to go through monthly TCQ tests, quarterly, annually, all the forms. If a man camp's not going through that, and so far they've filed 0.0 forms or samples, why do we have to do it? I have to break my stones to keep up with TCQ requirements to keep the water board going where I live. Why are they able to just scot-free run away with it? And the population of the man camp is 10 times where I live.
That's right.
Yeah, actually, they did state in the county commissioner's office, Luke did state that they will be doing weekly testing. They have someone on site that will be doing that, so it will comply with that.
We don't get to go ahead of the...
Public comment? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you for letting me speak. I've been a resident of Culberson County for 16 years. We live off 2017 down by Sanchez Road. It's probably about 4 miles to the man camp, and we have a well. We use the well for everything: showers, chicken water, our pets, our toilet, everything. And if that goes through, I am deathly afraid that we will have no water. Our water runs out sometimes and we have to wait. I keep gallons and gallons of water saved just for those moments when the water does not fill our well. And if we had to put down another well, I'm afraid it would have to be so deep I could no longer afford it. I've been retired for just over a year now and lived here for all of the 16 years, and we can't afford to make a new well. We need our water, and we need our chickens. If we don't have water to give to our chickens, that's our primary source of food. You know, we're older retired people and we can't afford to dig a new well. Please consider just blocking this whole thing. Why don't they move somewhere down where they're gonna do all this crappy stuff that we don't like? Don't live here in Culberson County. We don't need them, we don't want them, and I'm also with her about the fear of more things that would involve crime and people going around that we don't know. When we don't know people that come in our little place, we go see what they're doing here. Who are you bothering? We have numerous people that are retired out there, and this is the only place they can afford to live, is to live in a little travel trailer on their cheap land. And they can't afford to go, they come over and get water from us so that they can flush their toilet. And we just can't afford to have these people come in and do this. So thank you for my consideration.
Okay, what was your name again?
My name is Sherry Sanders. I live at 39833 FM 2017, right out there, a couple miles from the defunct town of Lobo.
Okay. Sherry, did you sign your name on this?
No?
Let me get it.
I'm sorry, I thought it was at 4 o'clock, and when I saw it was at 2, I came racing up. Thank you, Lynn, for letting us know what time it was.
Can I make a quick, something wasn't raised, can I raise a real quick question?
No.
Yes, ma'am, go for it.
I heard, I believe at the Commissioner's Court, that Jim Dryer is providing water to the Medicare construction. Can we find out if that's true?
I don't know.
Because that's not what we're talking about. He's not even in Culberson County.
I sure haven't heard anything about it.
He's in Jeff Davis County. He's on the other side of the road.
We did hear that. We
Did
do
you hear
have
it?
some video. We're waiting to confirm that.
Okay,
So,
somebody's confirming
there
it.
is-
Okay.
There is video. We did hear that there needs to be thorough confirmation, so unnecessary.
Because that's gonna
complications.
compromise the work that we're doing here if he's coming in backwards with water, causing some other issues.
So that it wouldn't affect, this would be a new point that if he's getting his water. from
We don't
Jeff
know.
Davis.
We don't know what it is. It's worth looking into though. Thank you.
You were late coming in. Yes, ma'am. I don't believe we had your name.
Nancy Sanchez.
Okay, Nancy.
When they're trying to build the man camp, it's less than a mile to my house. Now it's affecting my children. We cannot be outside because the dust is there, and the allergies are so bad on my kids. And it's not fair that we're not enjoying our place because of all the dust.
Got it, Nancy. Thank you. Are you signed in?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
I live on FM 2017. I am in Jeff Davis, a stone's throw from Culberson. I also have land in Culberson County. There's a tanker that
Yes.
fills up with water, and it goes down my street multiple. It's just going in
Yeah,
a circle.
I've seen it.
So much cement.
It's Jim Dyer's land.
Okay,
Is
I
that
don't know
your
where,
diary?
I know where they're filling up, it's where you, water for sale. But
Down there at the
I don't know
Melendez
where they're going.
area?
I'll follow them next time, and I just haven't had time yet, but, yeah.
Okay, thank y'all very much.
I leave from work at 6 in the morning, and there's so much traffic already at that hour going to the man camp. Big rigs, everything.
Is that all the public comment we have?
County. I had my hand up, but you didn't see me. Is there still some time?
Yes, ma'am, go for it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And like everyone said, thank y'all for taking public comment. I really do respect the opinion of the woman who said this is Culberson County's issue. I can understand where she's coming from. But if something of this magnitude was going on in Hudspeth County or another county that impacted Culberson so significantly, I think those residents, would be up there talking to Hudspeth as well. And the other thing is, the focus on groundwater in West Texas is significant. Senator Blanco recently passed SB 3484 about control and management of groundwater for Presidio. And also, I think it was Presidio County, I'm not sure the other one, somebody else on the call might know, but it's a significant issue. And I'm just wondering if, given the focus on that, if any conversations have also been had with, Senator Blanco's office, since he's so actively monitoring all the groundwater issues that are going on in West Texas.
Thanks, ma'am.
Anybody else? Okay. I think we're good. So we're going to move on from public comments.
Everyone, we're gonna discuss or act on an approval of our minutes, which I think we've all reviewed. Is that right? Okay, Samantha makes the motion. Lacey seconds the motion. All those in favor, say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Everyone, we're gonna have to ask y'all to step outside. We're going into executive session with our legal counsel, so we'll try to be as prompt as possible. Thank you. Thanks for all your good comments.
Out there they grow hot pepper or hay.
Please don't do that. We're in executive session.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm out here in public.
You can see.
Yeah, exactly. You can't trespass my eyes. Okay, guys, we did have a little bit of a problem when I was looking through the window. They were trying to block my view. So I just want to let them know that they need to create privacy if they expect it. Because, yep, okay, here they go. So this is exactly how you do it. You have to create your own privacy here.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why not?
Because if they're on Zoom, they're in executive session, you are in violation.
Of what?
We can get kicked right out of here.
I'm standing outside, ma'am. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, if you expect privacy, you have to create it. You can't trespass my eyes.
What do you say to radio station, Martha? As far as I know, that's the only radio station that you can. Okay.
But our broadcast lane policy
Okay, everyone, thank y'all for waiting, and we're going to reconvene in open session now. No action was taken in the executive session. We're going to move to item number 8, discuss, act on request for waiver and settlement related to construction of the water wall in PGF number 3, Rock LLC's Cup 31A, well S2, and this was tabled from April 22nd, 2026. Is there anyone with a motion?
I move to direct the general manager to investigate the status of TCQ's investigation of PGF's requirements for a public water system And I make a motion to table this item.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear Lacey seconds the motion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9, discuss act on general manager's report.
Chamley went out. He said that everything looks good. I don't believe that we had any meters that were broken this month, which is, we got a full report. Information and meetings, the GMA 4 meetings last, at the end of April. All of us sat down and we discussed the DFCs that have to be for our groundwater management area plan. And we all agreed. All of us came to an agreement, and so our DFCs for Culberson County are staying the same. We did not use an old model or a new model. TWDB asked us to use historical water like data that we had from all the counties, since their model was not great. And so we did that, and I believe that we will have a public hearing and ask for public comment in July, at our July meeting. That falls within the 90-day period. Then we will have the GMA, our next GMA meeting is in September, and that we'll take all of our public comments that we get from each county and bring it to that meeting. If there are no public comments or anything of that nature, then we will get to move forward with the management plan for the groundwater, the GMA. TAG is having their meeting in San Antonio, their groundwater summit, September 1st through the 3rd. I have signed up and I'm looking forward to it. I think we're gonna have a lot of great speakers. If any of the board members would like to attend, just let me know and I can get y'all signed up for that.
Sounds good. Item number 10, just discuss act on payment bills and bank reconciliation. Okay, Lacey made the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 11, discuss act on next meeting agenda items and set June meeting date.
So obviously, all of our reoccurring items, line item number 8 will be back on there, and it looks like it's June 10th.
That's
2 p.m.
Wednesday, right?
Yes, sir. Does that work with all the board members?
Item number 12, discuss act on the logo offer.
Nothing right now, we just keep that as a reoccurring item.
Now we're at public comment again. Does anybody have another comment they would like to?
I would like to make a comment.
Okay, Bob.
Yeah, I was just saying, if y'all could get blinds for the doors
Yeah.
and stuff like that, I think that would help quite a bit. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
I'd like to say something real
Yes,
quick,
ma'am.
Michelle Ramon.
Yeah.
Something nobody has addressed here is the fact that everybody's fighting over water permit, but nobody has addressed the fact that they're not asking for additional water, correct? That they are only asking to be allowed to use the balance of their historical amount of water, from what was explained to me.
That's true. It's just a fraction of their historical water. It's like 1% or less than 1%.
Okay.
0.02%. They would not even be using the rest of their allotted amount.
Okay, so this is all based on water that they're already allowed, but aren't using, so they have a surplus. Okay,
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
okay. I just needed clarification of that because nobody said anything. Like I said, I'm not for it, I'm not against it. I want facts. I want all the information out there.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of what they're asking for, if you took a tank truck that carried 5,000 gallons, you would have 5 of those tank trucks coming in a day to supply that water.
Okay?
So, not a whole lot of water.
And what they're projecting, the 500, is actually, they have to do a percentage over what they're really thinking is going to happen, correct?
You know, I can't answer that. that.
Okay, I'll get with on that, it was talking about that, okay, thank you.
Okay, Jennifer?
May I just clarify that I understood that correctly? They're looking for the difference of the allotted amount of what they haven't used, not more, just the difference. And that sounds like, if I'm hearing correctly, that's 25,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, that's all they're asking for, and that's all we're allowing, if it gets to that point, that's what they're asking for.
Would that be every day of the year?
That's what they would be allowed, yes ma'am. So 28 acre feet, just to give you all an idea of what that is, if you had 10 acres of alfalfa out there, that's what it would take to grow 10 acres of alfalfa in 1 year. So they get that 2 years in a row and then it stops.
And then what happens?
Well, then there's no more water usage. So it'd be a temporary situation.
So they would have to get water from somewhere else or possibly another one of the wells that they own if they needed more.
Well, that's a good question. I thought once they finish the construction or whatever they're using that project for, it would disappear. So they definitely, at the end of that permit period, the way I understand it, the contract period, it's, they discontinue use of that water.
What would be the fines, what would the fines be, or is that something you can find out if, let's say the project didn't go according to plan, and like most homeowner projects, right, they just go over. Once they've started, can they request to augment and lengthen their contract period?
I guess they could request it, whether they get it or not, I don't know. Because the offer could change in the meantime, up or down, so.
My understanding from some experience with other folks that have been on large projects like this, that often it is more financially easier for them to just pay the fine of what it might be if they go over, or any other potential hiccups in their plan, than to possibly do the paperwork to do it the correct way first. So that's what has been the experience with other communities.
I guess that's a possibility.
At that point in time-
specified in the regulations of the water.
The rules of the water district, what the fines are. I believe there's a number in there, I don't know if it's changed, didn't the legislature just came out?
I believe it went up to $25,000
Per day. And would there be a risk of them losing their permit at that point? If they chose to go over and pay the fine, and you see such blatant, disregard for our rules and our what's going on, what would the board do at that point? I mean, assess a fine, I see, but how many times do you assess a fine before you pull the permit?
That's a hard question to answer, but I don't think that it'll get to that point if, I don't think our landowners and hut holders and permit holders are,
respectful of the
very
board.
respectful.
Okay.
And conservationists,
Right.
Pepe is, Ivada is probably one of our most involved conservationists there is. He's done everything down there, spent lots of money to conserve water, and done so. The previous owner used a lot more water than he did, and he makes all our board meetings. I say he makes them all, as do some of our other permit holders.
Then why is he allowing the manhunt?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. He's a landowner, and has an opportunity, and I don't know what.
But isn't he supposed to, it's affecting me because I'm right there.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. It's being that close would be difficult.
Because I have children, and all that dirt's affecting us, and we're getting sick because of that. We're receiving that dirt every day.
Hopefully they'll get that under control.
They will in the next couple of 3 or 4 weeks. Meanwhile, we have fields all the way around us, and the dust blows 12 months out of here. So, we'd be.
For farming?
It's not affecting you like it's affecting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
But anyway, what is going to be the requirement that they're going to have to do to get that? Are they going to have to get a meter, or, I mean, what would those steps entail?
Yes, ma'am, I mean, we would require them to have a meter for sure.
Okay.
And it would be monitored every month.
Just like all our other meters are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a comment. Sorry.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
That's Charlie, right?
That is correct, sir. Thank you. 500 RVs, correct? And 25,000 gallons a day. That's 50 gallons of water per person per day. That's shower, toilet, drinking, watering your plants, anything else. We assume each of these RVs will have one person, or will they have a spouse or a girlfriend or children? A lot more water usage than the 25,000 gallons a day. I think if there's 500 RVs with people and their accompanying spouses, if they have them, or is it 500 completely single men with no one else?
You know, Charlie, I have no idea.
I bet there's going to be quite I bet the double the population, which would be double the amount of water. And who here lives on 50 gallons a day?
Well, I know what they're, you know, if it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah, well, I think.
Well, then we'll make sure everybody goes to the standards that you will hold them to.
Well, you know what, you need to get on the phone, you need to talk to these people, because they have to make the camp a certain size. Now, they're probably running 2 shifts, which means you're gonna have 200 people in and out. There's not gonna be 500 people there at any one time, which is standard construction. He can tell you, they have to go above what they're being required. If they say, we're gonna do it for 300 RV parks, they have to allow extra, just in case they have to bring somebody in so they meet all of the requirements.
Are you a consultant for them?
No, I've been on the phone with them.
Okay.
Well, just saying, I think it sounds to me 25,000 gallons a day is vastly underestimated for 500 RVs.
You know, Charlie, that's all, if it gets to that point, that's all they're getting allowed. So, anybody else with more comments?
Yeah, I just want I want some understanding on the difference between an agricultural well use permit versus a residential or, you know, temporary, whatever this would be for the, man camp.
What is your name again? I'm sorry.
Jenna Cantrell. Because those are separate things, right? We talked about that earlier, how an agricultural permit assumes that water is going to be recycled back into the aquifer. But with other types of wells, like residential ones that we're looking at here, that wouldn't be the case. So how does that transfer?
You know, and I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Jenna, but, you know, a residential well is an exempt well. So, you know, you can have, and I can't remember what the allotted GPM, gallons per minute, that you can pump it at. We've changed that, I think, in the past. You know, an agricultural well, and you're talking about recycling. You know, from my experience, you know, sewer systems, and I'm not sure what they're putting in out there. The TCQ will regulate that, but you know, eventually that water is supposed to be clean once it goes through the filtering process. And I don't know if it makes it back down to the water table or not, but you know, that's I guess an arguable point. But theoretically, and that's the way they teach it, that water ends up back in the ground as usable water. And I don't know if that's some of the stuff you're asking, talking about agricultural water going back in the ground.
Someone mentioned that earlier, and I just want to know the different designations of wells. Like, what would this well be considered, since now it's an agricultural, and it still be agricultural? Can you just transfer that, or?
You know, yes. I mean, maybe what's your take on that? I mean, it's definitely going to be an agricultural well, but I think they're going to use it for public water supply, so it'll come out of an agricultural situation.
They will have to change the meter and the well.
It's going to have to meet public water standards.
It's going to have to meet those standards.
Okay.
Which will probably mean that it can't be used for agriculture.
They would have to change it back to an
You're
agricultural.
You're talking from
well.
historical to non-historical for that particular well.
No, nothing is changing within the permit.
Okay.
So the permit cannot be changed, the permit cannot be transferred. It's a historical use production permit, and within our rules, you cannot, this is where it's getting so big, is if Pepe was able to just come in and say, can I change my historical use production permit from agricultural to industrial, and we were able to do that within our rules, none of this would be happening because he would be able to just transfer that. But in our rules, you can't transfer an ag to an industrial for domestic use. So that's where the settlement agreement or the waiver is coming in, is that he's asking the board to allow him to do that, to bring in this man camp just for the next 18 months to 2 years. That's the question that he's asking, and to stay under that 25,000 gallons that's in his contract with whomever it is, and his contract with us, and that we would meter it and monitor it and keep him within those regulations.
Just to give you, for instance, and please, if I'm not correct in this, y'all help me. If they wanted to move that man camp to the north of Vanderhorn into the Wild Horse Aquifer, and there's several people that have industrial use permits up there, they can set that man camp up, give them that water via the industrial permit, and we wouldn't have nothing, we couldn't say nothing about it. So, the bad thing about our community for me would be having all that traffic going back and forth to the community. So, but they could do that. They could do that because there's lots of water up there. And there's industrial permits already in place.
In Wild Horse?
Yes.
For a reason.
You know, if anybody, road contractor that needs, water or.
Rest area construction.
Can you house in an industrial?
I'm sorry, Jennifer?
I'm so sorry. Can you house people in an industrial park area? Because it sounds like that's an industrial type zone.
You know, that's a word we use, industrial, road work, or, you know, put in a solar plant, you need to water stuff. I don't know if you can have.
They would still have to follow the TCEQ rules and guidelines. It would just be out of our hands at that point.
Yeah, and you know, if the county had some regs or the state had some regs, that, you know, would be what they have to follow, which is probably, you know, of course. Again, with the federal side of things, it gets complicated.
I guess maybe my only last possible comment is that it is wonderful, thank you. It sounds like you're taking time to allow TCEQ to do their due diligence for the company itself to, sounds like, catch up with paperwork that they need to have in order to get things going too. But I guess also in that time, if it's possible for the groundwater and other places like the county commissioners to start thinking ahead of what that looks like if waivers are granted or not granted, and how you store the land and set future precedences for other large industrial use issues, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And maybe you guys can set up some different parameters to specifically address when someone who's ultimately going to want to come with AI and go, hey, we want to do this in your industrial section. What safeguards do you have for your communities to make sure that it's being done well, that it's being looked at thoroughly, that they have all the plans in place before they break ground like they've done on Ranch Road 1523. I mean, yes, it's a dusty place, but that plume is to be seen from a very, very far distance.
You know, that's a great point, and really, if you could put that in writing, we can get it in the newspaper, that'd be good. Because, no, I'm just kidding, that's a great point. You know, we all love West Texas and what it's all about, and openness, and gosh, it's just a, you know, great place to live. And you know, unfortunately, we have a railroad coming through, we have an interstate highway coming through, we've got gas lines coming through, and, you know, I just, with the border wall and stuff, I mean, you know, border security, this is just my personal opinion. And I've been faced with these situations before, and I don't know if you try to, you know, take advantage of what they're doing down there and get it like you want it. If you have to have a wall, show them where you want that thing. And, you know, there are places they're not going to, I'm trying to learn about it myself. You know, why would you put a border wall over a beautiful mountain that's got a sheer cliff on something? And I don't understand they're not doing that. I mean, but I don't know that for a fact. So, but, you know, my experience with the oil field, transmission lines, you know, get them to put the roads where you want them. Get them to, you know, help you, drill you a water well, put your fences up, sorry about that. Yeah. So, but it's, you know, I love West Texas as much as everybody else here.
And it's just a reminder that this board is voluntarily here. They're not paid, they're elected to be here. They do a great job, but they have rules that they have to follow. But they also just are faced with one thing, and that's groundwater. They're not faced with if they care about a border wall, if they care about a pipeline, if they care about interstate. They're faced with groundwater rules and regulations, and that's it. They're not the be all end all. So And y'all are a great board, and I love working with you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for letting.
Are y'all looking at any other similar cases in other groundwater districts that have maybe dealt with this same issue? And would it be possible to have them like reapply from the start since it's a different use? Like, are you kind of looking at the options, like the waiver versus reapplying, or have you ever dealt with anything like this before? It kind of sounds like you haven't. I'm just curious if what the normal process would be, or does that not exist?
Well, you're exactly right. We haven't dealt with this before, so it is, you know, new territory. And yes, we're looking at lots of different, you know, it's taken a while to kind of weed through it.
Yeah.
So.
But no, they cannot apply for another permit because currently in the Lobo, we do not have permits available. You cannot even apply for them.
Oh, okay.
Except the state permit requirement, TCEQ.
Just about overall, like the Lobo aquifer, I forget how many like available, how much water is available underground, or some estimate in your rules book, I think.
Managed available groundwater, it's called a MAG, managed available groundwater, fish conditions.
It's a fair amount, but I'm just like, yeah, it's.
And that's regulated by the, you know, Chapter 36 and the Texas Water Development
Our
Board of State
MAG
Statutes.
in Lobo is 10,958, but that will be changing because we changed our boundary lines and all of them are construction.
And if that became like, if you were becoming under water stress, and it's like, well, everyone can't get the water they're allocated, is there some?
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely.
We've already been cut 40%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because like, I have this 3,000 acre feet well, but now, because we're cut 40%, does that mean I'm only getting allocated 1,000?
Well, Mr. Jackson is one of our landowners that has had to re-drill because some of his wells already have run dry, and so he's having to already re-drill. That's money out of his pocket. So yes, he's firsthand, he knows.
Did that change in that line affect the number higher or lower, better or worse, or is it hard to say either way for the MAG number you were showing? Because the lines have been redrawn, will that number go up or down, or is it too soon to know?
Ooh, that's a good question. I can't remember. Hold on. Or I can pull it up and y'all can keep talking. I do have it.
If it ever rains again.
Right.
Yes.
It'll charge pretty fast.
You know, we have looked at different things to do to help the recharge capacity. Mr. Jackson's volunteered to supply a lot of help, but you know, there's a lot that's involved in trying to get that water back in the ground.
And it takes water.
Yeah, it takes water.
Yes. But yeah, they went from 5 acre feet in Lobo down to 3. It's been that way for years. So they've had to put in more conservation practices, better sprinkler systems. They pulled crops that they would normally farm all year long. They're only farming half the year. I mean, they're really trying to preserve the water. Doing a really fine job with it. And we
They've done a
appreciate
good
that.
job. Yeah, the farmers down there have done a great job. Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments on these?
Thank you all. Thanks for
Thank
being here.
Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. Yes, great that people are interested, I'll tell you.
Yeah, thanks for opening up for discussion again.
Thank you. Sorry, Jen.
Thanks for opening up to talk to us.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'll probably have to do that.
Gotcha.
but-
Thank you.
Hey, you're still in the meeting.
You're
Okay,
what?
well,
Oh.
hey, we're still looking.
I am looking for it.
Still looking for it. If that's.
If there's no more public comment, we're going to adjourn it. May I have a motion to place the motion to